All right, welcome back, everybody, as we continue our season preview series here of Coach on the Couch. And today we're Coach with a Tiger here at Marshfield Senior High Schools. We're visiting with girls head basketball coach Taylor Varsho. Coach, thanks for coming back again this year. Thanks for having me right here at Marshfield Senior High.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So it's year two. We're a week and a half into practice. We've got season opener on Thursday. Medford comes to town. Quick break here at ZaleskiSports.com. That game will be live. Mission number one, I've told everybody so far in the series, Coach. Mission number one, get to the gym and support the girls here. If you can't make it, use me as a backup. You can watch the game live at ZaleskiSports.com. Before we talk about the game on Thursday and this year, we'll talk a little bit about last year. And we got to start with your only senior on the team last year, Jenna Jacoby. Just a fantastic person and a fantastic student athlete here at Marshfield Senior High. What was that like? What kind of comfort or confidence did a player like that give you in your first year last year?
You know, I think Jenna was one that you could always count on to do exactly what we said as a coaching staff. And I give all credits to my coaches because, you know, like Coach Ott, Coach Rasmussen, and Coach Marshall, they're all back this year. We have the same message going across, and I think that that's really important. And Jenna just kind of embraced that, coming in as a new coach to the program. I think that was a huge piece, trying to, you know, change different offenses, different defenses up a little bit. And Jenna was right there with us and, you know, supporting us as we go. And she was the first one, you know, to say, hey, Coach, you probably, you know, we need to fix this, or hey, I don't understand this. So Jenna really set the stone for us, and, you know, had a great year last year. We had fun, and we're excited for this upcoming senior class.
Season ended last year in the opening round of the playoffs. It was a 10-point loss at Wausau West. As it turns out, West was 2 points away from going to state in their sectional final game against Kimberly, so maybe there's a little bit of solace there. But as you think back to last year, what were some of the favorite memories and just some of those things that you and the team experienced as your first year as head coach here?
I think, you know, just coming to practice every day with an open mind, and, you know, playing for, you know, and coaching, I guess, for my alma mater, which is a huge experience for me. And you know, not only as a player, but now on the other side of things, being a first-year head coach, coming from Eau Claire Memorial, the boys program there, so I had my feet wet a little bit, but, you know, a lot of things go into coaching that people aren't aware of. And so my favorite memory was probably beating Wausau West on their home floor at Wausau West towards the end of the season. You know, we had really key players step up in that game, and it was just a fun atmosphere and a fun environment. Me and Tom, you know, we talk all the time over at Wausau West, and he's a great guy to, you know, having your back pocket too. And, you know, we joke that we don't want to play each other, but at the end of the day, when I was in high school, you know, Tom was coaching at Newman, and, you know, it just brings back really good memories, and those are really good people to have in your corner.
Thanks, Coach, for reminding me. 2 Tigers standing right here too, so that's always important. No matter what, even when I call the games unbiased, I'll let everybody know I'm a Tiger for the rest of my career and the rest of my life here. All right, so we transition now into this year. I mentioned at the start, we're a week and a half into practice. Just tell us, what have you learned about your girls so far this year in practice?
I think the biggest thing is this year's a lot different than last year, really focusing on the girls in 3 different dimensions. I think, you know, not only worrying about their fundamentals, but also hitting their psychological and their mind and their heart. I think that's really important because kids these days, you know, they have a lot on their plate, and, you know, with school, a lot of them are in honors and AP classes. So that's really important. School comes first and basketball's always a second. So kind of creating a family around that. And, you know, we do different little activities this year within practices, and kind of incorporating that, you know, upperclassmen and underclassmen. They're really engaging. It's not just the varsity program, it's not just the JV1 and JV2, but really getting to know the players at a different level. I think that's really important in creating rapport with them.
Again, almost 100 broadcasts this winter sports season on the Zaleski Sports Network. Girls basketball, boys basketball, wrestling, hockey, gymnastics, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We're going to be busy, Coach. A number of those games will involve your team. I mentioned it on Thursday against Medford. By the time this is released, that game will be done. But when do you, or have you already started talking about the Medford Red Raiders and how to prepare for that game on Thursday night?
You know, last week was our first week of practice. We kind of split up teams on Saturday, so we really haven't talked much about Medford at all. That will be tomorrow's talk a little bit. But, you know, trying to fit pieces here and there. My senior leaders have been phenomenal throughout the course of the first week and a half of practice, and they bring energy that you can't teach. You know, the atmosphere, the kind of like the mojo in there is, you know, it's really great to have senior leaders that are willing to take the underclassmen, because my my underclassmen class is my freshman class is pretty big, and so we gotta get more girls out. We gotta keep those girls out and keep kids wanting to come to practice. It's not a job. It shouldn't be a job, but having that atmosphere and kind of that energy to come to practice.
Team goals are important. I know if I know one coach, I know them all, and you want to set some goals and let your girls be able to track those goals as you go. And one of them, perhaps, is a conference championship. SPASH, Tough, West. We've talked about Wausau West already. Some of the other contenders, DC Everest, in those conference championship. Is that a hill that these Marshfield Tigers can climb this year?
I believe so. I think we need to prepare these young student athletes for future leaders in our community, and really incorporating that life skills and social skills throughout their course of their adult life. So that's one of my biggest goals, is preparing these student athletes to be ready for the real world, because 4 of my seniors are on to college or to the workforce. So kind of preparing them for their life after high school. And of course, conference championship is always, some of the girls, we already filled out goal forms, and a lot of the girls want to finish in the top 3 of the conference. So that's always a great goal, but really hitting each player and making them feel important to the program and that they play a role is also a couple of our goals too.
And then one of the last things we'll talk about is playoffs. That's a long ways away. We haven't even had the first game yet, but playoffs. And what we're going to talk about here, Coach, is the section that you're in. As it turns out, a lot of your Valley competitors are in that section. I just mentioned, I think, all of them: the SPASH, West, Everest, Wisconsin Rapids, Lincoln. So what is it like to play against those teams in the regular season? And is there any advantage then having those teams in your section come playoff time?
Our conference is one of the best in the state, and, the competition level is so high. Going into our sectional, I know that's going to be right around the corner here, and we're going to be talking about, who we're playing in playoffs. But, it's always great to have our Wisconsin Valley Conference coaches when we played throughout the year. We see them twice. We see West comes to our home tournament. So, and the other conferences, I was just talking to the Rapids coach today, and he's going to Appleton East. He's going to Oshkosh. So, we play competition in our non-conference games who are intersectional. So that's always great, because now we can get feedback from our coaches and that are in the Wisconsin Valley, and sending film over and stuff like that. So all of our coaches in the Valley have a great relationship, and I think that we trust each other, which is also great. We don't ever say we don't want to play so and so, but our conference is really good and it's really competitive. So I'm excited. I'm excited for our first game on Thursday, and our first Wisconsin Valley Conference game as well.
Coach, best of luck in 2019.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, guys, that'll do it here with Coach Taylor Varsho as we wrap up this edition of Coach on a Couch, or as it turns out, Coach in front of a Tiger. And we'll have more coming up after this one. So make sure to stay tuned, ZaleskiSports.com.